Let's start with that first win for England, which means that they're going to go through to the round of 16 and play off against Senegal. Karim, I'm going to start with you because two players here who were instrumental today for the Three Lions. We've got Phil Foden, we've got Marcus Rashford. Why, you've got to wonder, did they not make their way into the starting lineup in the previous games?
Really, we have to think about it. I know that Gareth Southgate is quite criticized at home for his tactics, his lineups, but the youngsters proved to him, Phil Foden and Marcus Rashford, that the coach can rely on them. And that's the main point of tonight, because after the draw against the USA, we wonder whether this powerhouse could score more goals, but they gave the answer, especially the second half, because the first half was quite boring. Sorry for you, James. But at the end, they scored like in 3 goals in 80 minutes to wrap up this game. And Wales was so weak. So, that was enough for this time. Yeah. We'll see for the round of 16 against
if they've got what
Senegal.
they can. Let's ask our sports editor, Simon Harding, who's in Doha and heads over there. He's been following all the games from today, of course, for us. Simon, it is, as we're saying, a much more reassuring performance with that 3-0 win against Wales. There was that dip against the United States, but, of course, we're talking about one man, and I know you've got a few things that you might want to say about the man in the name of Marcus Rashford.
Yes, Marcus Rashford proving that he is absolutely razor sharp. 3 goals already for the Manchester United forward, and he gave Gareth Southgate and the Three Lions a world of good in this game after, as you mentioned, that drab draw against the United States. There was a lack of pace, a lack of intensity in that game that was answered with the introduction not only of Rashford but of Phil Foden of Manchester City as well. Rashford, who scored a beautiful free kick, and he can offer that in his game as well. His ability to strike from set pieces, as we saw, speed, drive, always running at defences. We know that Raheem Sterling is capable of doing that as well, but the Chelsea man hasn't been in the best of form this season. Marcus Rashford has been in terrific form for Manchester United, but overall it does give Gareth Southgate and the Three Lions something to think about going forwards. Has the fringe players in this game, Phil Foden scoring as well, given him perhaps a chance to change his starting 11 for that match against Senegal in the last 16? Mason Mount hasn't particularly contributed to anything. Foden, Rashford potentially in for Sterling and Mount. We'll have to see what Gareth Southgate decides.
Yeah, you do wonder, Ruben, whether perhaps the previous ones have had their spots nicked from tonight. Thinking, of course, of the likes of Saka. Is that? I mean, whether it's a possibility, we're going to have to see, because there were some scares, of course, for England. There was that Joe Allen coming very close to scoring in the first half. But actually, mentioning Wales, I mean, this is not much of a consolation for them leaving in this way.
No, it was disappointing. Karim said it already. They were poor, and the whole tournament they were disappointing. We said it before the tournament. It was such an expectations in Wales after 64 years, finally back in the World Cup. First game against the USA, they came back quite well after the break. But against Iran, they were the worst side, and tonight as well. There was no match, even with England using other players, maybe to test a little bit, what Simon said as well. Yeah, for Wales, it has been a disappointing tournament. And
there's no other way really to put it, is it? I mean, there's all the hope in it, but in the end, the results just aren't there.
But the good generation with Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, they come to an end. That's the bottom line of the tournament, because they are too old and they're not in good shape. They didn't even play in their clubs, so we see that this is the end of the generation.
And they're relying also too much on those players.
Yes.
So, I mean, Gareth Bale didn't play a game for in America. Almost never plays there. Aaron Ramsey is the same story. So it's also just a lack of quality. I thought that maybe with all the goodwill that there was in the team, they could compensate stuff, but to be honest, they got 1 point, which was even maybe too much in this tournament.
No, clearly it's not what they were hoping to go to.